Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Look at the rain gauge, and I'm so excited. I love the spring rains, it's true, but I'm also excited that I feel like being excited again. Just a few days ago, I was wondering if I would ever have the energy to ever be excited again after cleaning out all this when it was all dead debris from last year. What a mess that always is. I'm praying for some help to be able to get that done without taking 2 months to do it, but whatever it takes, as long as I can, I will. But it did make me so tired. I really didn't know if I would ever get the energy to be happy again. But I'll tell you some of the things that we did yesterday that just brought out even more happiness once I got rested enough that I wasn't hurting so terribly bad. I was already beginning to enjoy the garden again. Isn't that wonderful? Look at this. It may not seem so much to you, but it's the hibiscus. This is the pink ruffled Carolina hibiscus. It's just now poking up their little heads and beginning their 2025 display. It'll be wonderful. I see I also have a morning glory vine over here. I'm going to take that up. I love morning glory so much. They're so beautiful. My absolute favorite is just the bright heavenly blue, the oldest ones, and I love all the other ones too, but they do not stop coming up. So I've been pulling these up for years, so I'm going to pull this one up too, and hopefully I'll get a handle on that. But I came out because I need to trim a tree my ghost honeysuckle that I forgot to trim the other day, and I want to get that done. But when I came out, I saw so many things that were blooming that were not blooming the last time I was out here, so I just have to show those to you too. That's of course a clematis or clematis. Oh look, I didn't see these when I walked by them, but this is the widow's tears that's blooming here. I'll need to take some of these out of here, but I've learned to put them in a pot, because if I don't, they too become terribly invasive. They just grow everywhere. So I love them, but I don't want them to take over. There is a pretty clematis or clematis bloom right here too. I've got to get it where you can see it. Isn't that beautiful? And then there's these. This may be it, at least it's one of, if not my favorite of the clematis, because it is so dark. I hope it's showing up this dark on the picture, because sometimes it shows up much lighter, but it's not like a totally almost black, but it is such a deep purple that you think of black when you see it, but it's definitely purple too, but it's a dark, beautiful clematis. And I thought the one on the other side over here was the same, but I think it's a little different variety. It is the same color, dark and beautiful, but it's quite a bit smaller, but I still love it. It is still damp out here from our recent rain, but it feels good. It's cool, and I love it cool rather than hot. Look at this. I can't remember the name of the ballerina. I want to say it's just a white ballerina yarrow, but I'm not sure. But it is a white yarrow, I'm pretty sure. And it's beautiful, and it's doing so great right now. And my little oh my, I've forgotten the name of this, but it's coming back really pretty too. Let me see if it's still on this little tag down here. Sometimes I leave them so I can learn the names, but no, it's been washed away. So I can't remember exactly the name of this little plant, but I'm happy to see it coming back. See some irises over here in bloom. And of course the mock orange tree, looking good. And look how much of the Wedelia bush is blooming. So pretty. I've already shown you this, but this lovely little thing is filling out more and more, and I'm so happy that it did. I thought it looked so scraggly when I first took my plastic protector off of there. I was not sure that it would fill out like this, but it has, and it's looking great. I've got still so many pots I need to put together, and I would like to get busy doing that, but I also have so many other things I need to do. And then we'll be celebrating my mother's 93rd birthday. So I'll be busy doing other things for a while and be anxious to get back out here and see what I can do with all these empty pots, because there's a lot. But I like having some place to put my annuals. I love to have the annuals in the garden because, you know, the annuals, even though they only last 1 year, they often put down seed that come up many more and just look gorgeous. And the ones that don't, I try to bring in and save them, but you know, oftentimes they do not come back in alive, come back out alive. But let me tell you what we did yesterday, because we had a day in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We went first to where they filmed the Oklahoma gardening show that comes on, well, for us it comes on Saturday morning at 11. So, but we loved it. I got, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here, so let me go back a little bit, because my friend Susie and my sister Kathy were able to go with me, and we had such a wonderful time. This is called Ebb Tide. I was so afraid that I was the only one enjoying it when I realized it was my idea, that they may not be, but then they just began to tell me how much they loved it. So, you know, and then I was really over the top. My husband was my driver. I don't like to drive. I haven't driven very much since I got married. I do drive a little, not much. But anyway, he was the only one of us that was so tired we couldn't really enjoy it all that much. But he did enjoy some of it. And after we went to the OU campus, that part of it that has the botanical gardens in it, we went to that, and it was wonderful. This is a single rose, and it's blooming. It was had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 blooms on it before, but nothing like this. Oh, that rain is so wonderful for the garden. That rain is so wonderful for the gardener, because, you know, it keeps us, lets us do something else. I don't know if I'd have got to go if everything was all dry, and I just don't have the stamina anymore to continue to just keep going and going. I can't do it. So I've got to realize that about myself. It's hard to become someone you're not used to being, because it's hard not to be able to do all the things you're used to doing. And then, of course, you do wonder if you'll ever feel like doing anything again. But honestly, I have just enjoyed the garden so much, just because of the rains, and because everything is opening up in bloom and just looking great. And I'm so grateful. You know, sometimes we have to get through those hard parts of life so we can get to the exciting good parts. Look at this clematis over here, or clematis, I call it both ways, but isn't it pretty? And look, it's so big, it's big as my hand, and just looking great. And the catnip is blooming. It's one of my favorites too. It starts out early in the spring. It keeps right on going until frost. There is a period when it probably will lose all of this bloom, and you'll need to shear it off, and then it will just put on a whole new flush and just keep right on going. But this is what brought me back in the house to get the camera and take a picture of this beautiful rose, because it wasn't blooming at all when I looked last, which was only a day ago. So, but now, because of the rains, it is just blooming up a storm and looking great, showing off. I just love it when they show off. It's like they change from a 2-year-old that thinks they can do everything to a 4-year-old that pretty much can, and at least they can do it enough to show off, and you know they did good. Of course, I still can't go into the garden without finding weeds or grass I don't want there, or little seedling trees. But sometimes you just have to look past all that and see all the beauty. But after our trip to the botanical gardens on the OSU, I had to have a battery change. But I was saying that after our trip to the botanical gardens on the OSU campus, we are, or right there in that area on Campus Corner, I think they call it, where the Oklahoma Gardening Show is filmed and where it's out of. After that, we went to Eskimo Joes, and Eskimo Joes is celebrating their 50th anniversary, I believe, and so was Oklahoma Gardening celebrating, and they had teamed up, and so I also bought a shirt with not only Eskimo Joes on it, but also the Oklahoma Gardening. So, I mean, it's just wonderful to have that for me. I saw that when they had their show, but I never thought I'd really have one, and I just didn't think about them selling them there. I don't know why. That's the most obvious thing that they would do, but I didn't think of it. But I roamed around and I found one, and it was just exciting to me. So I did purchase it. Most of the time I don't wear t-shirts a whole lot, and I don't want to wear them out in the garden, because whatever I wear in the garden is going to look like what I have on right now, which I don't think I can actually show you. But it's stained, it's ripped, it's torn, and it will be again and again. So I just wear them until they practically fall off, and then I get some more and ruin them. But it's worth it to have the garden. It's so worth it. This little honeysuckle behind this little bird is where I need to trim out the old dead stuff, and I'm going to do that just as soon as I get through showing you the garden. So I went with my friend Susie and my sister Kathy, and actually, and of course my husband, and none of us had been to Eskimo Joes, and so I know we've lived close by all these years, but you know how it is. You're busy with your job, you're busy with your home, you're busy with your family. It doesn't become necessarily a priority, but it was it wasn't a priority yesterday, but it was a wonderful pleasure, and just like a little gift that God gave us. Just being together was wonderful. But to see all the beauty around you was extra special. And it won't be long till these little Atto peonies open up, and I can hardly wait. I did clip off the big, beautiful one that was on the yellow one that was the only bloom on the plant. Now this one has several blooms, and that it should look great. But that one looked just extraordinarily beautiful, and I took it to Mama for her birthday. And after Eskimo Joes, we went to the Bustani Plant Farm in Stillwater, just outside of Stillwater, and it was a fun experience too. I did get a few things. I shouldn't have probably. I don't know if I'm stopping or if I'm restarting or what I'm doing with my garden scroll, but some part of me is not ready to let it go yet. Unless, of course, when I'm cleaning out the garden, I'm pretty much ready to let it all go. I need to put a little piece on this side or get her scooted over where she's more in the center so she can have a plant on both sides. At some point, I'll try to do that. So much to do, but I'll enjoy it now. It won't be the hardest part like it was before, even though I'll get out here and get tired. But I want to get these little pots full. You know, I'm trying to get rid of this coconut liner, whatever it is. It's just not for me, but I don't know how else I could put a pot in here. So I've got to figure out something to seal them up, maybe with just some resin foam filler, I don't know, but I'll see how that will go and get these full at some point, and all these little pots. And I'm grateful for all the stuff that came up, the little volunteer stuff that came up. These are bells of Ireland, which is a tiny little pot for them to grow in, but maybe they will. They certainly came back there and they look good right now. I love this yellow green lipstick blonde hosta, and I took one to my friend Susie, and I'm going to take one to my daughter tomorrow. Hi, Clara. The roosters in my garden are representative of my sister Clara. And look at this beautiful clematis bloom. And I told my husband that I forgot the name of this. I'm going to clip off this old one so it'll just look all pretty for you. But I told him I forgot the name of this iris, but I call it Chocolate Sundae because that's what it reminds me of every time I see it. Vanilla ice cream with chocolate on top drizzling down. Have you ever noticed that weeds hide from you? Look at this. Giant weed. And I never noticed it till right now. And I know I need to get busy, but let me show you just a little bit more of the garden. There's columbine opened up. The sedums are filling out their little pots. This little one here is like the ones I showed you earlier in those small pots. And it also just looked like a bare spot there. I thought I'd have to move some of this over and fill it in. But it's looking great now too. So this has got a little array of different sedum in it. And I just love it. So I'm going to stop trying to grow all the other little annual things in all of these pots. Not in all of them, because I've got to have that color. I've got to have that little piece of excitement in my life. This is one of my favorite iris, and I know it's all laid over because of the rains, but the color is so pretty. And I think my friend Alma gave me this. Look, another one of those weeds. So there it is. I broke it off. That's how long it was. That's all. But what I wanted to show you was, well, of course, the roses are much more in bloom than they were when I showed you the one little one that was blooming. And these will soon be completely bloomed out. And then I wanted to show you this. I love the Baptisia. I may have shown it to you, but I don't think it had this many opened, but it may have. So forgive me if I'm showing you twice, but if you're anything like me, you don't mind seeing it several times. And the catmint is looking beautiful this morning. The pretty little blue blooms of the catmint. I took a little bit of this sedum out and put it in another pot, and it already looks full and beautiful. I love the colors on this too. The purple and white together is so eye-popping. And then the black, brown and yellow or cream. Very pretty. And this is where I put some of my new yellow star sedum that I got from Sunshine Nursery near Clinton, Oklahoma. My mother had been asking me for several years if I had any hackberry, and I did not know what that was. But I found out that this sambucus is also called a hackberry. So all that time when I told her no, I actually did have. And it is a little beauty when it blooms. It looks like it has some buds on it there too. And I may need to plant some more Sweet William. I love this, especially when it's all colors. But I've noticed that a lot of it has dwindled down, and I don't want to lose this out of my garden. I'm pretty sure that is what I had in this little pot right here, where you can tell everything it practically has died out of it. So I'm not sure if I want to put that there again, but I'm definitely sure I want some more of the Sweet William in my garden. Of course, this is another little pot that I want to change out. It's just falling down. It needs to be renewed if I didn't change it out, and I'm going to change it out so I don't have to be renewing cocoa liners all spring and half the summer. So at some point, I don't know when, but I will change this out and put these plants right back in it, I think. This is the Chinese dunce cap, and it's called that because in the fall it does put up a little cone-shaped dunce cap looking thing that I've read that it's not really easily started from seed, so it's better to just take a little one of these little rosettes and plant it and let it just keep it expanding itself or proliferating itself. So we'll say goodbye to the backyard for now. I'm going to go to the front for a bit, and then I've got to get busy in the backyard. And no, I did not finish planting my plants. I did. Well, I finished the ones that were okay in these, but these are not. They're not going to make it, which is, you know, they're not even there anymore. I pulled them out. But I will put some more little starts in these and try to give them another chance. I'm not sure where I'm going to put my Santalina, but oh, I hope I find a good spot where it'll love to live. And of course, there's many empty pots around here that I need to fill up and put those pretty little annuals in. But I also wanted to show you that I did, this is the Coreopsis that I took out of this pot and put it in the ground, hoping it would make it through the winter. It did. I took it apart and left half of it back in the ground in the back, and then I put half of it in this little pot because it's a yellow Coreopsis, and this combination of the blue and the yellow is just very pretty to me. Look at this little donkey. My friend Susie gave that to me. I'm not sure where I'll put her, but I'll find a spot for it. And then this, I had actually put some foam filler in the top because the back side of this rim came off, and so I thought I would just fix it. And then of course I forgot it because I was also putting foam filler on other things trying to fix them, and I forgot this one. So when I came around, it was just all bubbled up in the top of it. But it wasn't so hard that I was actually able to cut me a hole through it and take out that little centerpiece, and I will paint the whole thing probably with this pink again, and then it'll have a lip and it'll last for several more years, hopefully. I love this little pot when it's full of moss, because you know, Roth moss or purslane moss or some of the sedum would do great in here, and they don't need a whole lot of water. So if it dries out too soon, they'll make it till I come back around with the hose. And I have admired my friend Susie's hosta for so long that she actually got me one. I have some blue hostas similar to this, but they're not this big, and this one is actually small too compared to hers, it's tiny. But I'm going to try putting this in the ground and see if it won't get big like hers someday. And I found one little sedum. I'm on the lookout for sedums that are, this one I have a hard time, I've had it before, and I have a hard time making it work through the winter. I mean, yes, through the winter, so that it doesn't die out in the winter time. And then this is a agastache or agastiki, however you say that, but I think it's pink, and I'm anxious to get that back in the garden. I had one once before, and this little plant, I don't know if you can tell right now with it being wet. Oh yes, I think you can. Look at it. This was from that Bustani plant garden, and it literally looks like black velvet. It's tiny, but I think even then it'll still make a wonderful showing. Just that unusual color, and just even the texture of the foliage on it looks great to me. And I'll try to find a place where I can set this up where it'll be noticed. And then this little plant is another one that I was not familiar with, but it had the most pretty blue color in the picture of it. It wasn't blooming. It's called Blue Thumbergina, and I hope that will look pretty. And then this is just a milkweed. I've tried several of the ones with the pretty round, I think it's just called common milkweed, showy milkweed. It is showy, but I've never got one to live. I've planted a few of them before, but I hope this one will make it. And I still need to get some kind of trellis for my yellow-green foliaged lace vine. I hope this is not going to be a problem, but it's just so pretty. I had to try it. You know, I did that with a trumpet vine. Oh my goodness, Kathy and I talked about that, but I don't think either one of us would take it back. Even though it ended up being a bad experience, it was also a wonderful experience. And I love the color on this. This is a, what do you call it, where it just grows straight tall and not wide, and pencil pole, what is it called? Pillar. Orange rocket barberry. And it's the one that's called a pillar plant. So it just grows tall and not very wide, and I'm sure I can find some place for that, and hopefully a prominent place where that color can be enjoyed. I love green. Both my daughters, it's their favorite color. It's my husband's favorite color. So I do love it, but I like color, lots of color. I can't even pick a favorite color because I just love them all. And you know, I've told you, if I did have a favorite color, it would be downy chick yellow, which I have nothing of that in bloom, I don't suppose right now, but there will be some out here before the season's over. I usually try to find a yellow petunia, if nothing else. And I like the yellow African daisies. I do still want something else in this little pot, but this looks so terrible, but I brought it from inside, and it still looks good to me because it's not dead, and I think it'll go ahead and fill its roots out and get a good start again and really go. That's what I'm hoping for. And this is the little pot where I put some of that sedum from the back, and look, it's already beginning to fill it out, which is great. Matter of fact, let me take you over here. Of course, this one I just brought out, so I'm pretty sure it's dead, unless there is some life in that root. We'll see. I don't have a bunch of hope for that, but look at these little pieces that I took and put in here. They're already beginning to fill out somewhat too, and they look great. So there's just no use in me having to refill them every year, because these will come back. I'm not sure yet if my iris or my hosta will make it, but I still think it might. We'll just see. And here's another of the dragon wing begonias right here. that I still have hope for. I think I've already shown you, but just look how the peony filled out because of our wonderful spring rain. So I'm going to have to quit for now. There's still lots to do in the garden, and I will try to get it done, but it's just so great to enjoy it, and I'm hoping you're enjoying it. And that's a recount of our wonderful day that we had, and that we got to enjoy so many things that we hadn't got to enjoy before. Plus, we had that time to build memories with our loved ones together. So it was great. So I finished it. It kind of looks like I scalped it. But there's also little ones growing up from the bottom. So I think it won't be long before it'll be full out again. And even though it does look scragglier than it did before, it looks better because all the old dead stuff is not the first thing you see. It's gone. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.